Hey there, it's Andre, the Impulsive Thinker. I'm here today with Mike Zorns from Strategic Coach. He is a membership advisor and he connects with over hundreds of entrepreneurs every year to learn about their goals, their dangers, and the opportunities they can capitalize on, and also use their strengths that they continue to grow. Mike, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Andre. It's a real honor to be able to join you on the podcast today.
Yeah, we've been working together. Well, we've been seeing each other quite a few times over the workshops. I'm really liking what you're doing on LinkedIn with some of your thinking and sharing your thoughts in that. And we've had a lot of conversations on the side about ADHD and entrepreneurship. And I thought it'd be really great to have you on because it's about a year now you've been working with entrepreneurs or a little more.
It's a little bit more. It's almost 3 years that I've been working with Strategic Coach, so directly
Okay.
working with entrepreneurs. I was one of the original COVID hires, so it's still one of the things that still always stands out so much. It's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to be here to chat with you today. I still remember the first in-person workshop that I met you at
Yeah.
right after uh,
The
a
first
lot of
live
the
one after.
lockdowns had
Yeah.
lifted. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just the vulnerability and authenticity that you really shared around neuroatypical thinking and how that really impacts entrepreneurs. It's something that so many other people I've talked to only ever kind of hit the surface level on.
Right.
I think it's why what you're doing with the podcast here is so important because you really do dive deep into so much of this. And my own experiences with dyslexia and a few other things, I've certainly, because of that impact and first experience meeting you, have been a lot more open about it in the 18 months or so since then.
Yeah, and that's what I like about what the discussions with you. It's deeper, and we go a little deeper, and you're very curious, and that's one of the things I invited you on here is because of your curiosity. So how about we just get going? What are you curious about?
Well, I'm curious about almost everything, but which becomes a problem in and of itself. We were just chatting a few minutes ago about the fact that I no longer have room on the bookshelf for all the new books that keep getting keep getting ordered. But a lot of the curiosity right now for me is really focused on the future of where things are going, what business is going to look like for the entrepreneurial community in the next 3, 5, and 25 years,
Right.
and where we can help support and get entrepreneurs ahead of that curve, build their confidence to really be really be sure about what certainties and uncertainties are going to be in the market,
Mhm.
and give their teams the confidence to absolutely win when I think most corporate businesses are going to be in a wait and see mode for the next 20 years.
Mhm. So what do we want to talk about today?
Well, I'm really excited to chat today a little bit more about the idea of always being the buyer. It's something within Strategic Coach that is a huge game changer for so many of the entrepreneurs within the
Mhm.
program. And especially for me as a salesperson, it's one of those mindset shifts that's a little bit tough the first time you hear it, because it really is all about getting out of sales mode and attracting the people who you create the most value for.
Well,
So
tradition is it's the people buying who are the buyers, and we have to bow down to the buyers. The client is always right, is what we were taught, right?
Exactly. Or, all the stuff that we were taught that doesn't work, like the mirroring. They cross their legs, so immediately cross your
Right.
legs. They cross their arms, so make sure your arms are crossed.
Don't be
And all
yourself.
the exactly all these artificial things that the actual data and science, all of the Gardner research tells us doesn't work, and isn't true. That be an authentic connection and building value, those are really the only way to be able to earn the right to do commerce.
Right. So what do you mean by always be the buyer then if we are the entrepreneur and we're providing the services?
Well, really, when most entrepreneurs start out, you're happy to do business with almost anybody who will work with you. A company that I used to work for, our CEO's standards for clients were if you hold a mirror up to their nose and it fogs up, we're going to try and sell to them. Basically, if
Mhm.
they have a heartbeat,
Yeah.
we want them. And one of the things that still stands out to me the most was the day that her and I looked at a report together, and she went, "We're spending 60% of our time on people who generate 2% of our revenue."
Right.
So cutting out that 60% and focusing on who we actually created the most value for, immediately the business changed, and the profitability of what we were doing and the income that all of us were earning on the sales team doubled within an 18-month time span. So for me, a lot of the buyer mentality is all about really developing deep standards on who you create value for in the market, and then being really honest with the people you don't create value for, that you don't create value for them, that you shouldn't be working with them.
Yeah. So what you're actually describing kind of reflects the old concept of A clients, B clients, C clients, and D clients. A clients are that's 80% of your revenue with 20% of your effort, right? We all
Yeah,
know the 80-20 rule. And then your B clients, you want to spend time to convert to A's. C clients, they're frustrating. They may have a potential to be a B, but don't spend a lot of time to convert to B. If not, let them go. And D clients is an automatic fire. Get rid of them. Now, I think what you're talking about, always be the buyer according to coach, is completely different to this. So having strict rules and what did you call them? Not rules, but standards.
strict standards.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I think, a more appropriate word than rules. The rules
Yeah.
can be very limiting, whereas I think standards are the opposite of that. Standards are incredibly freeing. They help you attract the people you most want to
Right.
work with.
And the thing is, what like I keep telling my engineering team here, stop reacting to the whiny babies. The ones who scream the loudest doesn't necessarily need the squeak, doesn't need the oil. We have to stop ignoring our A clients. They don't cause problems. They don't bother you. When they do talk, is either something really important is happening or needs to be changed, and they don't say bye. They just don't show up again, right?
Exactly.
So, like you said, like I remember my only job in my career, we had a couple of clients. Like you were saying, I was spending so much time with them. Like we lost money. We do the job. They want it cheap. We do the job. Then we spend hours and hours on the phone after because they wanted the extra free information afterwards. And fine, those were the declines. I got rid of them. Right. Some of them converted and realized they weren't, I one that says you're a pain in the butt to deal with. And he's like, oh, please explain. So I did. He didn't realize he was being a pain. He was just doing what everyone else was doing. He converted to a value client. But the other ones is no, not doing it. This is the price. Have a nice day. If not, no skin off my back. Which I'm sure a lot of the entrepreneurs right now listening going, what do you mean say no to money? Why would I say no to money, Mike?
Well, that's exactly it, because it is really scary the first couple of times that you say no to money. Hey, this is
Or
a fast,
fire a
easy
client?
win. Yeah. And I think the question that I would have for you when you fired those clients, when you said no to that money, how quickly were you able to make that back, focusing on better quality clients, on your A
Oh, I was
clients?
able to get more work because I was freed up to talk to more clients and get more work or take care of my A clients, which is future revenue. It's always recurring revenue future.
I, I think that's exactly it. The D clients just weigh us down. It's so much time and energy. We're no longer showing up as our best selves when we have those opportunities with an
Yeah.
A prospect or with an A client. And so we're not actually maximizing what's in front of us, because we're spending way too much time on the people who cost us far more than what they're actually paying us.
And you know what? If you can tell, this is a test for the listeners. This is a D client when you see that phone ring with the name of the person or an email pops up with that name and you go, oh, not again. That is a D client. That is a have a discussion or just stop doing work with them.
Yep. You see that name pop up on your screen, and your heart skips a beat. You know you're working with the wrong person.
What now? What's going to be this time? Like, man, can't they just figure it out?
Well, And Audrey, I want to ask you about, because there's another aspect to this, which is just that freedom of relationship, the fun that comes with working with a client. So can you dive into just a little bit more about what that looks like, why that freedom becomes so important?
A clients is not work. A clients are not work. Because it takes no effort and you're more likely to be in your unique ability if you're dealing with the A clients. And the other thing too, what I really found is they hire you to take care of what they don't know, and they got faith in you, and they just say, just do it, and you do it because they got faith. And there's no checking in, verifying, they're not micromanaging, and that's a lot of the A clients are. We don't quote those jobs. You're going to probably find the A clients, which is 20%. Again, that number seems to be pretty accurate. 20% of your clientele brings in 80% of your revenue, and that's no effort. We don't have to sell to them. Just maintaining and communicating to them regularly works. And what I found with time was, we were taught, oh, don't get too personal with business, just need to know how many kids they have and what they like in their coffee. But the more I got to know the person as a person, and we not talk about business, we got work afterwards. Like sometimes I say, oh, what did you want to talk about, the projects? No, I'm just calling you. How are you doing today? You're not going to sell me? No, I just want to see how things are going. If you need anything, you know where we are. And then that reputation actually gets spread around, right? Your A clients bring A clients. Because I got an A client. He says he's got 2 engineers he refers. So if one of his good clients calls him and says, I need a referral for an engineer, he says he sends it to our way. If it's a pain in the butt client, he refers it to the other engineer. I thought that's the greatest compliment ever.
Well, that's such an important point that you've highlighted here, because it is the A clients who create that referral. They bring the new 20% into the organization. I think you've hit it right spot on there.
But that's
Simon
our
Sinek
value.
had a
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, Simon Sinek has an amazing video about referrals on YouTube where he talks about when he was getting his mortgage and, worked with a mortgage broker, perfectly fine, average experience. The first call from the broker after the deal was finalized was, hey, do you have anybody for me?
And yeah,
he's never referred anybody to his actual broker. The guy who didn't win the deal, the first call after was, hey, fully understand that you went somewhere else. No problem. If there's anything that we can still help with, clarify, keep your other guy honest along the way, let us know.
Yeah.
Simon has referred every single person since then to that other guy.
Well, and that's what people don't really realize. Every transaction is actually a personal transaction. They're not investing in your company. They're not investing in your knowledge, which they value and they need. But in the end, it's you that they're hiring. It's you that you're providing the value. Like I got some clients that I got to this company, into the engineering company. I don't maintain them. I did the first off, shitstorm taken care of, and we don't get along. But I got the engineering manager here. They love each other, and we get the work because of that relationship, that personal interaction, not my personal interaction. Right?
Well, I think that's such the other important aspect of this, especially all of the entrepreneurs who are listening who have a sales team or around them or big teams around them, is that you don't have to personally manage each of those relationships.
No.
I'm curious too, especially as you've kind of defined the relationships that you love to manage, how that impacts and changes the team dynamic and sort of how you work with them around.
Well, the team feels
selling.
more special that they got dedicated customer that I don't, and I value that they can bring that. Like my engineer manager is a Harmony guy. I brought him to meetings and I'm going to throttle this client, but I'm going to bring you in because after this project, I'm done with this guy. Then he came in, he harmonized, he got everyone to get along, right? And then after that client came back, said, oh, this was great, let's do another. And I said, no, I'm not dealing with this guy. So Phil, you have one last chance. One more project with doing it, but if he still does this crap, we're done. I'll give, because Phil said, I want to take this on. And it turns out, as long as I'm not involved, he's an A client to the company, right? So I think there's a difference here. There's an A client to the company, and there's also an A client to you, the entrepreneur. And you know, it could be an A client to someone else on your team, but not necessarily to you.
Well, it goes back to what you were saying earlier too about the personal relationship and just that the A clients aren't work, that they're just fun to be with and trust your expertise. When
Mm-hmm.
you empower your team to be able to do that, to define their own A clients, it's a completely different dynamic and relationship than when you're the one defining it as the entrepreneur.
Right. And then within our company, we know we have those ideal client statements. We know who they are, and the team knows who they are. So when we start dealing with certain clients, they can come up to me and say, they're not an ideal client. Okay. Now we got to have a discussion with them. Sorry, we can't, or this is the problems we're having. If you want to continue working with us, we set the terms and conditions for them to deal with us for a while, right? And one of the things I did, like at the beginning, you mentioned something about how the company you're on, it was if they had a pulse, they're a customer. Okay, there are some companies that's more of a commodity driven service, in my opinion. They just want to get low margins, but the more you can get, no matter who it is, we're just going to deal with them. And then when I started my engineering company for the first time, I could have done that. Just did a bunch of marketing, undersell my stuff, just did all the commodity work, but I didn't want to do that. I have a niche knowledge. I knew at a very young age in my entrepreneurial journey that I bring a lot of value. And if you want to pay for it, great. If not, who cares? But I made a decision to build my company on referrals, not marketing. I decided to do that because I knew it was going to be a slower growth, but it was going to build a solid foundation under me. And that really was proven in COVID. Like I started my engineering company in 2008, 2007, 6 months before that 2008 crash, right? If I can go through that, I can get through anything. But with COVID, it was a different ball game. But I had the foundation of good clients, A clients that said, hey, here's some work to keep you busy because it'll keep us busy, right? So
Yep.
with that, we had high standards. Now, you can get, if you're starting out and you don't have a lot of cash, right? You know, when you start, I'm sorry, you got to take everything that comes in. Money's money. You need to live and survive, right? But as you grow and you got more cash confidence, now you're able to start differentiating. So instead of saying, oh, I got all this work, I got to hire people, I actually say, why don't you take a look at your clientele? Do you need more people or just need to get rid of clients? Because if you get rid of the bad clients, that's just cheap work, and you start taking on more work at a higher value, you might make more money with less people because you got rid of clients
It,
or the D
ex
clients, the bad clients.
exactly. The work that slows you down is no longer there, and you can charge more, create more value with fewer people and resources,
You got
which
more time to spend on good people. Yeah.
it exactly. There's something.
And here's the other thing too is when I fire clients or we refuse work, we just don't say, hey, have a nice day, because they are a referral, right? Or they can refer. So we always provide them with options of where they can contact other firms or other people that can do the work. Sorry, in my head, I don't like you. I don't want to deal with you. Sorry, we just don't have the time right now, sir or ma'am, to do the work for you. But here's some other firms that could help you. You know, they're going to remember that you helped them. And then they might say, hey, you know what? That engineering firm that refused to work with me or they could not work with me, give them a call anyways, just like that Simon Sinek reference.
Well, it's such an important point, and I love that you brought that up, because absolutely how you kind of fire a D client or how you turn away business when you know it's not the right fit is so important to reputation. Most of my software sales career, the companies I worked for, we were the highest price option in any room, any bid that we walked into, and it was an amazing filter because we could so quickly kind of get rid of the people who we knew were not ever going to be able to afford us, or that we weren't going to create enough value for, and then the ones who we knew we wanted to work with, it became so much easier to clarify that. But the
Hmm.
ones that we didn't, we always knew who in the industry was going to serve them better. And it wasn't that uncommon 2 or 3 years later when
No,
they had outgrown that platform for them to come back to us saying, okay, yeah, now we're ready
right,
for.
exactly. And I think that's what a lot of big companies miss. It's like, no, just go away, but you can be a future customer once you get to a certain size, right? Like I think you can provide value to a person you turn away. And like you said, has to do with reputation,
It
right?
Well, it all goes back to that Warren Buffett quote. It takes a lifetime to build a reputation, and it takes 2 minutes to destroy it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I I think there's a few industries right now where they're so focused on volume that they're really doing a lot of reputational damage. And I think this is why entrepreneurial organizations have such an advantage in today's market, because when you focus on value, when you turn away the wrong business the right way, that's going to come back to you tenfold.
And that when you say value, it also comes down to value to the client, value to your company, value to you, and value to your staff. So if you say, okay, I don't want to deal with this client, I'm going to now delegate to someone on my team, and they're a decline to that team. Well, that's like to say shit flows downhill. Team members don't like that. They actually say you don't value me if you keep handing me the bad clients, right? When I
Yeah,
actually say we're no longer doing work for these people, there's a sigh of relief. Just like when you finally dismiss someone that's a problem to the company, everyone goes, oh, it's about time, right? So it also shows that you respect your team's time and commitment by getting rid of those people that just suck the energy out of the client. So value is not just to the clients, to yourself, your company, and your team, and also the client. And yep.
I have to ask this because it's something that comes up in so many of the discussions that I have with entrepreneurs. When you do that, when you focus that, when it's the A referrals that you're sourcing out to the rest of your team, what does that do for retention as well?
To the company, or it could
To
be retention for anything.
to the company, to the team.
Yeah, when we're getting referrals where it doesn't take effort, and then we're trialing out people that we don't know, um, it's very invigorating. Like when I know I get a referral from my top clients, those are good referrals, because here's the other thing too is don't refer just to refer to look like you're a superstar and I know I connected with everyone, because you know what? A lot of those referrals are crap. And if you refer me crap, you're crap. So, like for me, I've always taken referrals seriously. If I'm going to refer you, Mike, I know where I feel that you're going to take care of that person I'm referring to, because it's actually not you that looks bad. Me, the referrer, looks bad. And that's how I look at it. Most of my clients, good clients that do referrals, that's how they look at it. They refer for the right reasons to the right people, because it looks bad on them if it's not done right.
I, I I love that. I think my biggest takeaway from the conversation so far, don't refer just for the sake of referring. Make sure you're referring the right people, because it's so true. It impacts every relationship, not just the one business, but every other business that you work with. I love it.
Well, it affects your reputation. So if you want to be popular and you want to connect with everyone just to be popular and just brag that you know everyone and you can refer everyone, that's one way of doing it. But a lot of us don't want to, because it's a reflection on us.
Just, just like in the gym, the worst thing you can do is ego lift too much weight that you can't do a full rep. Same
Or
thing with
yeah.
referrals. No ego referring.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy. Do you got one more last question for us here, Mike, or
Uh,
statement? Because you've made some pretty good ones and observations.
well, thank you so much, Andre. I just again want to say how much I enjoyed being able to have the conversation with you today, and really hope that everybody listening in has been able to take away a couple of great things here, because I do think we've really hit a lot. But especially the impact on the team around you. I think
Mm-hmm.
the way the culture changes when you really focus on your A and your B clients and really firing those D clients is just such an important thing to always be reinforcing. And that an A client for you as the entrepreneur is not always the same as the A client for the team around you. Let them develop their A clients. I love that.
Right. As long as they meet the terms of the A client for the company, then it becomes a client for the person. You know, the personalities clash. So you know what? But um, so for the listener here, I know it's very tough as an ADHD entrepreneur. Like people pleasing has been a very bad thing for most of us because trying to fit in. Mike's shaking his head yes. Any neurodivergent person being the odd duck in the pond, um, we just want people please and be accepted. And at the beginning stage of my entrepreneur journey, yes, I was taking everyone. I was trying to people please. The D clients actually take advantage of you. They're the gaslighters. They're the ones that take advantage of your people pleasing and your low self confidence. So keep that in mind. A clients don't. They see the value. They see the true you. So now for you to be saying, "Oh, now I can be the buyer. I can decide who works with me." Yes, like I've always said, my rules, my game, my company. Right.
Exactly. You define the standard. You know who's the joy to work with, and when you analyze just a little bit as to why they're a joy to work with, and start saying no to those who aren't,
Mhm.
you'd automatically just attract more of that client to you, and
Yes.
that just builds nonstop confidence.
And that's a great point because I've had customers say, "You actually work for that company," and I say yes, and then they actually start doubting you because their reputation is now shown on you. So that's a very good insight on your part. It comes around, but yes, if you surround yourself with great clients, it just grows, and you got more time because you can spend more time with them, and we forget. So, it's your company. You're the one in charge, and that includes the clients you bring in. Clients make or break the fun you have, and you get to choose to who gets to work with you on your terms. And there's nothing wrong with that. You want to be happy, you want to have fun. Why do we keep inviting idiots and people that ruin your fun just because it's money? And what I found, fun customers, fun projects actually bring more money, net revenue down the road, and it's very something for us to remember. And like Mike said earlier, the sales pitch or the sales method now that's very acceptable, and I'm starting to see for sure, is be authentic and build value, because the data is showing that no more of this mirroring or the old method of sales. You know, A clients are not work. If you set your standards, your high standards, and you follow them and you communicate that to them, they are not work, they're fun. And you can provide value to a person that you turn away by helping them because you provide some value to them, even though you may not get value, but karma comes around. So be nice. And I think we'll just end on this one. Value to me, you got value to the client, you got value to the company, you got a value to yourself and value to the team. Get all four together, hit four values there, and I think you're going to shine. So I got one question for you, the listeners. Have you been the buyer lately? And do you choose who you work with? Let me know. It'd be great to hear from you. And Mike, thanks again for this insight. I thought this was really good. A lot of insights, and I know a lot of people will be thinking about what we're talking about.
Thanks, Andre. It was an absolute pleasure to get to join you today.
Thank you. And to the listeners, thanks again for listening. Talk to you soon.